Hey, what's up guys? Tim here again. Got another tutorial for you today. So, doing another paracord project, a little different though. So, if you're wondering what this is, you've never seen one of these before, this is a fidget toy spinner or a hand spinner. And these are getting really popular right now, especially in the sort of EDC community. It all started with the torque bar by Scam Design. And you can go Google that or YouTube it. A lot of videos about torque bars. But basically, a hand spinner or fidget toy it's just something that you keep in your pocket to kind of play with when you're waiting. And they're all essentially the same in principle. It's got a bearing in the middle, kind of spins, and on either side there's a couple weights. And when you hold it in the middle and give it a spin, it does that. Right? So it's pretty fun, right? You can use it with one hand, like this. And it's just something to do, something like akin to clicking a pen or flicking a knife open and closed a lot. Or, you know, when people roll a coin in between their fingers, it's something like that. So we're doing our own version today, kind of like a DIY paracord spinner. There's a lot of different DIY tutorials on how to make these. I wanted to do one with paracord, and this is what we're doing. It's pretty simple, and yeah, let's check it out. Okay, so to start off, you'll need some bearings. I bought these online on eBay. These are just 608 skate bearings. Now, these do have covers on them. So normally, well, this is what we want the bearing to look like. We want to take those covers off and expose the bearings. And here's why. If you look at this bearing, if I just kind of spin it, see this is how it spins, the way it is now. Not very well, right? But if you look at this bearing, it spins a lot better. It's not amazing, but it's a lot better, right? And the reason why is because inside these bearings is a very thick kind of grease or lubricant straight from factory, and you want to take that out because we want these bearings to spin a lot more freely. So we're going to have to take these covers off. Your bearings might have a plastic cover on them. These have a very thin kind of metallic covering, and we're going to take those off. Okay, so to remove this cover, you need something sharp. I've got a kind of junker knife here, and I'm wearing a glove for safety. Anyways, be very, very careful when you do this. Do not stab yourself in the hand or finger. Don't try this at home if you're not experienced with tools and whatnot. Yeah, I'm okay because I am a professional paracord scientist. Okay, so here we go. You're going to want to pierce right here on the inside. You don't want to go out on the outside and go in. You want to go like right about there. So hopefully I can show this on camera. The metal is relatively soft, so you should be able to get at it. So go right here. Probably better if you just go straight down into it. See, I'm starting to dent it, but it's kind of hard because my camera's in the way. Okay, let's try this. I'm gonna go from up here. Go in. There we go. See, now I've kind of pierced it. Now, just kind of pull up on it. Got that dent there. Okay, let's do this. From here, you can kind of pull up on the cover. There we go, see? Pops right out. That was relatively easy. I didn't stab myself. So as you can see inside, there's this kind of thick, nasty grease in there, that factory grease. You want to take off both covers, do the exact same thing as I did, and then pop this bad boy in just some hot soapy water, or if you have some mineral spirits, or maybe even rubbing alcohol might work. I just used soap and water, and like dish soap and water, and I scrubbed it with a toothbrush, and I got it nice and clean, and then it looked like this now, right? So all that nasty grease is out. And yeah, it spins a lot more freely. So do that to one of your bearings, and then we can move on from there. And here's just a quick comparison of the two bearings before prepping it and after. I took the cover off on the other side so you can see what it looks like. You can see all that nasty thick grease in there, right? So you want to get rid of all that. All right, so for this next part, we get to play with some super glue. So now we're going to glue these bearings together on the sides. All right, so I'm going to start off with these two bearings. Now I'm just using this kind of crazy glue, advanced crazy glue. Ooh. And it should work on metal. It's rated to work on metal. So let's see how this goes. And remember guys, a lot of this I'm just figuring out as I go. So I'm just kind of bringing you along on my stupid little experiment here. So let's put a little bit of crazy glue. Probably want to go sparingly on this. Let's try just a little bit. Just a dot. And now we're going to hold these two pieces together. It says to hold it for 30 seconds. So I'm going to do that and hopefully it will bond nicely. But we're going to do more to bond these pieces together. Okay, so that worked. I've got one side glued together and they're quite centered as well. See, it's attached. That's good. Now we're going to do the other side here. So again, just take very small. I used a very small dab of super glue. Let's see if I can focus on it this time. Just a little dot. That's all it takes. And then line them up and hold it about 30 seconds. Okay, so I've got all three bearings glued together. You can actually use it as a fidget toy like this, right? It's pretty cool. But to add some paracord to it and maybe make things a little more secure, because these joints could snap off. It's just super glue, right? I'm going to take a piece of gutted paracord. This will add a nice little accent to it. I put a dab of super glue about here. Be very careful. My super glue is actually still wet. I added an extra dab here and here, but be very careful not to glue your fingers together. I'm going to add a dab of super glue, maybe like right here on the bearing, and I'm going to line the side of the bearings with a piece of gutted paracord just along it like this. I think that would look really cool. And I think that would really hold everything together. Just kind of like keep all three bearings together. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Might have to do that time-lapse style, but that's what I'm going to do next. Okay, so now that that's done, what we're going to do is just cut off this last bit of excess paracord. So I'm just going to slice that off here. Like that. I'm just going to take my lighter to that, melt that off. I might actually cut that a little bit closer. You can see there. So I'm just going to melt that little bit off. I'm going to trim it a little closer and then just take a lighter to it. All right, and there we have it. We are done. So I've got the paracord snipped and singed there, and I used my little tool to press it down. I think if I had taken a little bit more time with it, I could have kept everything nice. See, it's a little wonky here. Could have kept it nice and straight. Anyways, yeah, it works quite well. So one thing I'll warn you with is, or warn you about is, because this is super glue on metal, it's not exactly the strongest connection. I'm actually, at the time of shooting this, it's about a day later, I carried this for about a day, just playing with it, and I actually dropped it on the floor, and the joint here kind of broke, because I didn't use that much super glue, so you might want to consider using a little more super glue, but it's still held together because of the paracord going around it. One other idea I toyed around with is taking your lighter and actually just kind of torching the paracord to the point where it gets like more solid and hard, because you know, it's like kind of like melting it, you know, sort of semi-melting it. Not melting it completely, but I figured that would make this essentially turn into almost like plastic, right? So that's something I thought about doing, but maybe we'll save that for another video. But anyways, here it is, paracord kind of DIY spinner, and yeah, it's a lot of fun to play with. It's a great little fidget toy to have in your pocket whenever you're bored. You'd be amazed how much time you can waste just doing this while you're waiting for something. It's pretty fun. There's a bit of a technique to it as well. I mean, you can use two hands and go like that, but I like to hold it in between my index and thumb, and it's a little awkward behind the camera, but I use my middle finger and just kind of flick it out like this. And obviously the spin time isn't the greatest because these are very cheap bearings, but if you get you can spend a little more on like those hybrid ceramic bearings and whatnot, and you can probably get higher spin times and all that. Alright, so that is it, guys. That's the Paracord Fidget Toy Hand Spinner. Didn't think if this would be feasible or not, but I guess it kind of works out, and I like it. I like the result. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Check out, yeah, try making one of these for yourself. They're a lot of fun. And remember, all products and stuff used are in my affiliate links down below, and check that out in the description box. So when you shop through those, you're helping out this channel greatly. Alright, thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one.